Hey everybody, so today we're going to do part 2 of our solo drill videos, quarantine practices. We're going to work on footwork today. So we're going to start without any weapons. I'm going to go over a couple of basics of body mechanics and then go into the actual footwork. So a couple of things: you want to have your feet shoulder width apart. Lead foot in the direction of travel. So this foot is pointing this way. I'm right-handed, so my strokes are going to be coming from the right. Left foot back just a little bit, canted just a little bit. Like I said, about a 45-degree angle. Knees a little bent. This gives you a nice stable platform. You want, like I said, lead foot, and especially in the knee, pointed the direction you're wanting to go. You don't want your knee to be past your ankle. If you do that, you're going to end up with some hyperextension. You're going to really hurt yourself. Hopefully, I know there's a lot of us with bad knees out there, and a lot of us that end up with even worse knees after a day of fighting. So hopefully some good footwork can help alleviate that for people. I know I've got absolutely wrecked knees. It's a miracle I haven't had surgery by this point. So you're going to want to keep your knee straight up and down as much as possible. You don't want to turn your knee in, ever. This is exactly how you end up blowing your knees out. So when you're cutting, you want to cut and keep your knee in the direction towards the bad guy, right? In the direction that your weapon is traveling. So whatever you do, you don't want to come in and turn like that. You'll feel that tension if you even try it right there in a controlled environment. You'll feel that tension right there. That's your knee telling you, no, this is a bad thing. Don't do that. So let's not do that. All right? So all your control is going to be in your hips, right? So if you stand with your feet just shoulder width apart, just move your hip, move forward, 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 forward. Make sure you're not pulling your knees in. If you do that, that's bad, right? So keep your knees straight, move your hips like that. All right, that's your basic body mechanics for the upper body while we're doing this footwork. So it doesn't matter what this part of the body's doing, this part of the body stays facing the direction we want. So we'll go back into that shoulder width, one leg forward, one leg behind a little bit. We're nice and stable. We're not going to be falling on our butts now. We're not going to be getting knocked over, tripping over our own feet. So our first step is going to be your basic advance. You push off from the rear foot. Keep your weight on the balls of your feet. That helps with your balance also. Don't get flat-footed, and old 3.5 D&D, you could catch somebody flat-footed and get an advantage on them, get a bonus. You don't want to be caught flat-footed, right? So up on the balls of your feet, not on the toes, but on the balls, just your pressure on the balls of the feet, right? Your heels should still be on the ground, but your weight is on your balls of your feet. Your first step, you push off with the back foot, pressure on the ball of the foot. As you raise your toe, come forward. And then your back foot follows. Back to shoulder width apart. And then the retreat is how you move backwards. It's the exact opposite. Push off on the front leg, lift the rear, and gather your foot back up to about shoulder width apart. Forward, backward. Especially since we fight outside, make sure that your advances and your retreats, you're picking your foot up a lot. Land on that heel, roll into the toe. Land on the heel, roll into the toe, and back again. Now the retreat, you pick it up, land on the toe, roll back to the heel as you gather in. I recommend 20 or 30 passes, forwards and backwards. I'll go through my house. Just walk through my halls like this. Out in the yard. Look like a weirdo to my neighbors. Don't care. Practice my footwork. Footwork is the core for your fighting. If you don't have good footwork, you can't get to or get away from your enemy before they kill you. Now, like I said, you want to keep your knees bent. Don't get high. Your head shouldn't bob too much. Your upper body should stay pretty much the same level. You should just kind of glide forward and backwards. All right. Next, sorry, got a little too close to the camera there. Next, we're going to work on what's called a gathering step. So, I'm not quite close enough to my target. I need to get a little closer distance, right? They've fallen backward. So I need to close distance. So I'm going to bring my lead foot. I'm going to take an advance. Bring my lead foot all the way up to my rear foot, all the way up to my lead foot, and then back out into an advance. So I'm back to that shoulder width apart, but I closed a lot of distance quickly. So, a little too far there. All right. It's a nice little breaks the tempo, get you closer faster. And you can do the exact same thing to reverse. Step a little bit back, gather, back to shoulder width apart. Next, we're going to do what's called a passing step. I'm going to go from the left side first. So, passing step. You need to take just a little bit more distance than an advance, but not for a full gathering step. Take a passing step. This also changes your body direction. So I've got my left foot forward, I pivot on my left foot, come around to the right foot. Feet are still the same distance apart. Same thing backwards. It's just a pivot and land. Pivot and land. And again, that lead foot should be facing the direction of the person you're attacking. This is one of those places you need to be careful of your knees, not to extend over them, not to let them bend in. Keep them nice and 90 degree. Forwards and backwards. All right? Forwards. Backwards. It's kind of like the old Western movies. You get the guys in chaps. It's kind of the same movement, right? Like Bugs Bunny when he's wearing the chaps, right? He doesn't even bring his feet together. It's almost like you've got a bar separating the... Again, make sure you're picking your foot up plenty. Don't drag your foot that's moving. Because we got all sorts of brambles and holes and rocks and whatnot we don't want to trip over. So those are our basic steps. You want to do each one of them as many times as you can. Literally 100 or so a day, if you can squeeze it in. Get your body to remember those movements. This is one of the basic advantages I have in fighting is literally 2 decades, a little over 2 decades of footwork. This is one of my biggest advantages. I can move like this all day, stutter the distance, stutter the tempo, and close or retreat from my enemy. It's a very short movement, very stable. I can retreat from an attack and back in. So practice back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Maybe 5 steps forward, 2 steps backwards, 3 steps forward. Something along those lines. You know, change up the pattern, get your feet used to it, get your legs used to it, get your glutes used to it. They will hate you at first, but they will also thank you at an event because you will not hurt nearly as bad. Now we're going to do it with weapon. So the timing of your footwork is exceptionally important. Your feet can give you away, or your sword can give you away. The idea is not to telegraph your attack to your opponent, right? Your sword, your arm, and your feet should all be in sync. So, when you attack, you start with the hands, move into your shoulders, body, feet. Your feet should land. Same time your weapon hits your target. Even if you're not hitting the person, where your sword gets where you want it. Right? So in my previous video, talked about cut to the middle. That way you're not whiffing and leaving your whole body hanging out there to get hit. So, wham! 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 Alright? Foot stops when the weapon stops. Let me show you the difference. I'm not quite close enough to my target. I start my swing and then step. It takes me twice as long to get there, right? So I may miss my target. I may get there, but I'm going to be way too slow. They're already going to parry. The other difference, I step in, then swing. Well, now you know I'm coming after you, right? Now you know I'm closing that distance. You're already either attacking me or defending. Again, twice as long to hit you. Sync it all up. 1. 1. 1. 1. This is just a simple passing step, right? Simple advance. You can also attack while retreating. You want to time the retreat so that your attack strikes at the same time as your dragging foot. So, I think. Okay, I have that backwards. The rear foot. Pretty simple. Not a whole lot of technical steps there. It's just the 3 basic steps. The advance / retreat, the gathering step, and the passing step. That's the basics. There's a few more, but we don't. I don't use them a whole lot in boffer fighting because they're committing to an attack more. Typically, they're going to be a lot more force behind them. You can't pull back your force as easy when you do things like a lunge or a balestra, a spring attack. They make it a lot more difficult. Practice those steps. Practice them without a weapon. Practice them with a weapon, and have fun. Get some exercise. Work the sweat. Feel the burn in those legs, those calves, those glutes, and hopefully we're all still a bunch of badasses by the time we're able to actually see each other and hit each other. Love you all.